Does leaving a match before it ends count as a loss? Well, let's find out. Hey guys, Nightfall here, and a while ago, and I'm talking a while ago, like way back before even Season 1 started, back in pre-season days, leaving a game in progress wasn't actually counting as a loss, both in-game on the stats page and on the tracker.gg website. People abuse this, and so that's why you'll always see screenshots floating around of insane winning streaks and crazy win-loss rates on the website. There were, and probably still are, a lot of people out there that think this was never true or that I don't know what I'm talking about, but you can literally go and check out my old video on my channel. I showed all the proof in-game, the whole 9 yards, on the website, all of it. This was part of the reason why XD Loadouts became the go-to website for stat tracking for your own personal stats, because it not only tracked the games left as an actual loss, but it was also tracking your KD correctly and counting the kill assists that counted as kills in-game towards that. I stopped using it personally because for whatever reason it seems my profile was deleted at some point, and I can't even relink my Discord to it to set it up again because it says I don't have early access or an access code or something. I don't know. I can't be bothered with it. But anyway, I figured now was a good time to retest this and just see what happens. So because the in-game win-loss ratio and the website seemed to have been tied hand in hand back then, I have to assume it's the same now. I can't really tell by the in-game tracker because of just how many matches I've played since that time. That number would never move even an inch after a few test games. So I got this fancy overlay from tracker.gg that tracks current session stats, similar to how you can see it on the website on your own profile. So we needed to do a few things now. First step, load into a game, play the game out. In this game we ended up with a win, and now the overlay doesn't take that into account instantly. It does take a moment to refresh. So while I waited for it to catch up, I went ahead and loaded up into the next game. And at some point during this game, you can see it updates with the win from the previous match. Now this game we end up losing, and again, instead of waiting, I started to search for a new game, and despite it showing air and space, I get put into an ongoing game of Rockefeller. Really wish they'd fix that. But you can see during this game, it does update my session tracker with the loss from the previous game. So now we're 1-1, and we can confirm that it tracks wins and losses accurately. But to what extent? What happens if we lose a game that we got thrown into that was already in progress, like this one? Does it count as a loss? Well, after that game ended, I took a break to let it catch up, and sure enough, losing matches you join in progress count as a loss, which I think is just plain nonsense. But the next game I got into, I played until almost the very end. This one wasn't one that was in progress. I just started up a new game, voted on a map, got in, played it all the way out, and left right before the game ended. And while I was waiting for that to update, it does eventually update with the loss, and I am now 1-3. So it seems like they actually did fix it to where any games you leave count as a loss. The part that's sort of shocking is that while recording it as a loss, it doesn't seem to record any of the kills you got in the match, which is very strange. Then the last test was leaving a game that you join in progress, and same result, you get the loss, but you don't get your stats added to the tracker. So this actually ended up giving me a lot more information than I originally intended or really wanted. But to sum it up, any game you leave in progress does count as a loss, and any game you leave in general counts as a loss, but seemingly doesn't count your stats for that game, which, like I said, is strange. But not only is it strange, it's a little disturbing. Previously, with the bug of it not counting as a loss, it at least counted stats that you had up to that point in that game. So people were able to pad their win-loss ratio, but that was about it. However, now it does count as a loss, which is good because it should count as a loss. But a stat people care about way more than win-loss ratio is their KD, which with this can now easily be manipulated if you're having an off game and going negative or just doing worse than you normally do, and you leave the game before it ends. You basically just save your KD both on the site and in-game. Again, assuming the tracker and the in-game stats page track the same way, which in my experience, they do. You see how this can be a huge problem? They fixed one thing but ended up breaking another. And I have to think that this transition, or fix if that's what you want to call it, must have happened during that couple week time span when the stats page was frozen in the game, and I'm not really sure what they did. Do with this info what you will. By no means is this to make more people start abusing this and increasing your KD off of it. I still think if you leave a game in progress, you're a shitty person for it. This is for educational purposes only. Just wish they could fix it without breaking it again. Anyway, let me know down in the comments your thoughts on this, and if there's any other weird things that you've encountered in the game that I should test. And I'll catch you in the next upload.